Today we're doing a 7-round NFL mock draft, and I'm going to be mock drafting for the AFC South as we're working through the simulator. Remember, it's a simulator, so it's going to simulate a draft. There's going to be some randomness to it, but we are using the default settings. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at mock drafts every day. We're analyzing mock drafts. We're looking at these players, the player values. We're helping you with your dynasty teams and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out, but we got to get to drafting. 7 rounds is a lot of drafting here. That's why I'm only doing a division at a time. I do this every Sunday morning. It's released, and a few times throughout the week. But here we go. We're going to start the draft. Of course, I got the first pick overall. I got the Titans, and I feel like we're pretty much locked in, guys. I think we're locked into Cam Ward. I think they're getting a quarterback here. I think that's happening, and that's probably what I'd do. I'm mock drafting too. I might be a little random on some picks because if I drafted player X a few times to this team, I may switch it up a bit. Jaguars are on the clock. There's some interesting players here to look at. This is an interesting situation for the Jaguars. I'm not mocked with them. Travis Hunter went off the board. Abdul Carter went off the board. We're not in play for Shedeur Sanders. No, not at all. Not at all. We're not in play for that at all. Oh my goodness. I'm looking at this, and this is a tough one. Defensive line. Let's look at that. This is tough. Let's go defensive line. See what we got. Kenneth Grant. Nah, Mason Graham got plucked right off from under our nose. Will Campbell's there. Janae Barron's there. Malachi Starks is there. Oh my goodness. I just look at this. I can wait on safety a little bit. Defensive line I can trade back for. When I'm looking at this, I can make a play for Tyler Warren. That is in play here for the Jaguars at this spot. Like, I don't hear many people talking about this, but now I'm on the clock here, and I'm like, I don't like this, I don't like that. I like these names, but I'll also at running back Ashton Jeanty's at play. Like, getting him above the Raiders. You got ETN. You got Tank Bigsby. But they weren't really getting it done last year either. I mean, you had some moments, but not really. They weren't living up to it. But you got Ashton Jeanty here. When you look at all these players, right now, who's the generational talent? Who's the generational talent? I'm on the clock right now. Usually like a Mason Graham. Sometimes a Travis Hunter a fall. But Shedeur Sanders not going to the Browns and them taking Abdul Carter really, really hurt me here. I'm looking at going sexy. Because safety I can wait on. I know I can get one in a few rounds. Malachi Starks is a guy I can get. I can always trade back up and get, but we're not trading up in this mock draft. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck. Let me know what you do here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. Ashton Jeanty. Hate it. Hate it, Raiders. Hate it, Raiders. Hate it, Raiders. Janae Barron going to the Raiders. Oh, Raiders fans going to hate that one. Will Campbell going to the Jets. I like Campbell a lot. I was looking at him. Matthew Golden going 8 overall. Tyler Warren to the Saints. I think that's a sexy spot for him. I think that's a great spot. T-Mac to the 49ers. Them getting another first-round wide receivers. This draft's getting a little nutty. G.I. Campbell going 12 overall to the Cowboys. I would not be surprised. Will Johnson falling in this draft. That could have been my selection for the Jaguars. We went Ashton Jeanty. We went a little bit different here. It's a little bit different compared to other drafts, but you're sitting there on the board and you're like, you just saw how I just sweated that out. And I was like, okay, I'm picking in the top 5. Who's the generational talent? That was it. That's why I made that. I've not seen that many times in mock drafts either. Janae Barron, them getting a cornerback there off the board. I like Will Johnson a little better, though. Will Campbell to the Jets, solid. Matthew Golden's been a riser. Good route runner. 4.29 speed. Tyler Warren, I think that's a great spot with the Saints. Quarterback changes might be in the near future. That's something to think about. I think that's a good spot for him. Bears go Armin there. Solid get. Offensive tackle spot. We're building that offensive line. T-Mac to the Niners. Another wide receiver. Something they need to build off of, but a different wide receiver too. A bigger guy that can win at contested catches. Jack Campbell, solid linebacker. Now I'm up with the Colts. Tight end is a position of need. We got edge looking at us. James Pierce has been falling in a lot of mock drafts. Not the ones we're looking at, but I think it was like Daniel Jeremiah or somebody fell to the second round. Josh Simmons is there. We got some guys. I like James Pierce a lot. I don't see why he should fall. I like Mike Green a lot. I think those are interesting prospects that could be going to the Colts. If you really want to hammer tight end, Colston Loveland is worthy of going here. He's worthy of that. Malachi Starks is right there. He falls in a lot of mock drafts. That could be a guy to get. Jack Campbell was sniped. And after that, we can go linebacker later. Like, you got to think, when you're thinking of position of needs and your first round picks, you got to think, second round, we just got to hope Demetrius Knight falls to us. So, honestly, guard, there's Booker. You got to hope he falls to the second round. So, second round, we might catch something nice. I'm looking at edge right now. Edge can be there in the second round. With James Pierce here right now, that's a talent. Crushed it at the combine. Crushed it. Colston Loveland could fall, but I don't see it happening on a PFF mock. I don't see that happening in the real NFL draft. He's worthy of being selected up here. He's worthy of it. He is worthy of it. Let's go James Pierce. Let's see what happens. Let's do that. Another thing we could do is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders with this team. That is something you could think about. Jalen Walker, linebacker. Mike Green, edge to the Cardinals. Jamar Stewart, edge to the Bengals. We got an edge run here. Michael Williams, Seattle Seahawks. Josh Simmons, killed it at the Pro Day. Donnie E to the Broncos. Now, edge went to the Broncos in one of the other mocks. The thing is, sometimes talent falls to you and you roll with it. That's what happens. With what's here on the board, I wouldn't be surprised if they went Mika Igbukwe, Luther Burden. They're very good on the defensive side of the ball. Colston Loveland, they're all good fits. But remember, it's a simulator. They're just going out the range of possibilities. Shedeur Sanders going to the Steelers. That's a possibility if he falls. Look at them right now at quarterback. We're still waiting more news on that. That could be a possibility if the Browns don't select him. That's a huge possibility. The Colts, I mean, no one's really thinking about that. But look at what we're seeing with Anthony Richardson. Look what we're seeing. We had to bring in Danny Dimes. That's how bad it is. If Anthony Richardson doesn't hit or they're sus on that, maybe if they're looking at Shedeur Sanders, maybe. I don't know. I'm not calling it. But you got to think outside the box. That's what we're trying to do here. Walter Nolan to the Chargers. I like him in the first round. Shamar Stewart, Mike Green. Jalen Walker's solid get for the Falcons. He's almost locked in to go in there. Almost locked. I like James Pierce. I'm a little too heavy on him, I bet. I like him a lot. Now I'm up here with the Texans. Wide receivers, a position of need, offensive line. We're looking at Luther Burden and Mika Igbukwe. We got Nico Collins stretches the field. I think Luther Burden and Nico Collins are a great match together. I think they're a great match. I don't see them in a situation where they can land both wide receivers. I don't see both these wide receivers going to pick 25. I think one of them gets selected. Malachi Starks is right there. He falls in these drafts. For some reason, he's ranked 9, ADP 19, but we're at 25. He falls every time, I swear. Luther Burden to the Texans, come on down. I'll try to be faster once we get to the middle rounds. Kelvin Banks, Rams get a tackle. Safety from South Carolina. Emma Warry goes to the Ravens. I say this every time, Ravens. And the back end of this draft here, Colston Loveland going to the Bills. So doubling up at tight end, Dalton Kincaid and Loveland, that's a nasty 1-2 punch. Mika Igbukwe to the Chiefs. Imagine that. Imagine Mika Igbukwe going to the Chiefs. Like a wide receiver falling to them when they want to add depth and talent to that offense, especially injuries, arrests sometimes, fake arrests. Tyler Booker to the Washington Commanders. That's a huge get. One of my picks, I was waiting for him to come back to me. That didn't happen. Starks going to the Lions. Lions get a gift. That's a gift. That's a top 10, top 12 player. That's a huge gift. And then Edge. The Eagles are going to get a defender that falls to him. They might trade back. They might trade up. But at 32, there's going to be some good defense there. There's going to be some good meat and potatoes there. That's what I'm going to tell you. Now we got our quarterback. How we are at wide receiver. Wide receiver is very thin this year, so that's a position you do not have to, like, hammer out, right? We had that edge run, so I'm not expecting edge to be too heavy right now. I'm not expecting it, but I do want to look at that because if there's one guy I like at the top, Landon Jackson Prince, I can wait a little bit. It kind of got tapped out in the first round. I'm looking at linebacker. The thing is, one of my other teams, I wanted linebacker. Edge, linebacker, Demetrius Knight's right there. Alec Ayomanor's right there. That's a good route runner. I like him. Looking at the wide receivers, Jack Betch. No, not early second round. Jaden Higgins. I like him. If I can snag him. Restrepo, I'm going to let you slide to somebody else. I like Trey Harris. I like Jalen Noel. Going to tight end. We are waiting a little bit longer. When I think about positions of need, what's on the board, I like Harmon, I like Knight, I like Connerly. I like building up my offensive line, getting more talent there. I got defensive line looking at me right in the face on the interior. Wide receiver is right there. I like Ayomanor. I do like Ayomanor. He put Travis Hunter on skates. I don't love doing him at 35, though. I don't love doing him at 35. I don't love that. I do recognize that we got some talent. I do recognize that. Linebacker, Demetrius Knight's right there. That could fill a void. That could be a good spot. Wide receiver, I just drafted my quarterback. When I get a quarterback, I always want that team to get him some pieces. Either an offensive line or wide receiver or running back. Josh Connerly's fine. I'm not too in love with him. Ayomanor. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't love it. I don't love it, but we did it. Defensive line is what we're looking at, and it's heavy. It's heavy. TJ Sanders, Derek Harmon. We got some guys to look at here. Safety's tapped up a little bit. We do have some guys to look at. Xavier Watts, Kevin Winston. We can wait around. Defensive line's thick right now. It's thick. Tyleik Williams, he fell at the combine. I mean, the pro day. We're going Derek Harmon for the Jaguars. Raiders go TJ Sanders. Defensive line run. Josh Connerly goes to the Patriots. Tyleik Williams goes to the Bears. The Bears always have a sexy draft. Jack Betch to the Saints. Thomas to the Bears. He got lit up a little bit at the Senior Bowl. Jackson Dart, second round to the Jets. Trey Amos to the 49ers. Donovan Jackson to the Cowboys. They get a good offensive tackle there. And this was the team I was looking at Demetrius Knight for. Looking at him. I was looking at safety too. Safety fell to them. I think Knight's the better play. I think Knight is, the LB2 in the class? That's a huge get for the Colts. Huge get for them. Now we're looking at the Falcons. They go Xavier Watts. They take the talent. I like that move. Braden Swinson, edge to the Cardinals. Maxwell Hairston. Riser. Sometimes in the first round, these mocks. Dolphins. Caleb Johnson to the Bengals. That's a huge call out. Them getting a big physical running back that could handle a workload. That's a good 1-2 punch. They're going to have a running back as well. Some big picks coming off the board. We're going to recap them once I'm up, because that's going to be soon here in a couple picks. Jaden Higgins to the Chargers. That passing offense is going to be nasty. Quinshon Judkins to the Panthers. Did they need another running back? No. Could they pass on Judkins at this price? No. And Jonathan Brooks just lets us know you're over. You're over. Jared Ivey, edge. Jack Sawyers fell in these mocks. Going to the Packers, though. That's a good addition to them. Ravel going to the Bucks. That's a fit. That's a good fit. That's a very good fit. Princely to Seattle. Landon Jackson. Did the Broncos go back-to-back edge? I don't see that happening. That's the thing about the simulator. It'll just, throw players at teams sometimes. Caleb Johnson, though, to the Bengals. Dynasty stock, that's through the roof. the Bengals privilege going to Caleb Johnson, and he's a riser on PFF right now. I don't think you've noticed that, but in the rankings, the ADP here, he's a riser. He's a huge riser. Now I'm on board here with the Texans. I went wide receiver last time. Offensive line, something to look at here. It's kind of zapped up. Looking at tackle, we got players. We got dudes. Interior offensive line. Getting off that. I like Ratledge a lot. I think he's going to be a riser. I think he's going to get drafted a little bit higher than expected. Willie Lampkin's a dog. There's a little bit of a size issue with him with his length. You can catch him a little later. I think that's a dog to look at. Over on the board, though, we got some dudes. Running back, something to look at for the long term. Scatterboo, I would like a little later, though. I would like him like 3rd to 4th roundish. Running back, I can hold off on for a few rounds. I know it could be sexy with this team. That's something we could do. But let's look at what's on the board, not just straight up positions. I like Darren Porter. I like Elijah Arroyo. That can get you some upside at tight end. That can really get you a stud there. I know you got Cade Stover, but that can get you some upside. Can get you an athlete there. You got Carson Swissinger. You got Shamar Turner. Shamar Turner just seems like the most appropriate pick right now. Norman Lott, I like him. Kyle Kennard's one of my dudes. Benjamin Morrison's one of my guys. Kennard or Morrison's actually my dudes. I'm going to go Kyle Kennard, just getting an edge. Getting an edge right there. One of my favorite edges in the middle of the 2nd round. I think that's a good meat and potatoes pick. Darren Porter goes to the Ravens. Trevion Henderson. So another Jahmyr Gibbs-esque player. More like another DeAndre Swift going to the Lions. Back-to-back Miami Hurricanes come off the board. Cam Scatterboo going to the Chiefs. My goodness. Dylan Sampson going to the Eagles. This draft is getting sexy. This is the sexiest draft we've had. Jalen Milroe going to the Giants. Them getting the rookie there. This is the sexiest draft we've seen. Doubled up on tackles. Norman Lott comes off the board. Let's go look at these picks here real quick. Restrepo going to the Commanders. He failed his 40. I don't know if that's going to affect his stock that much. I think it will a lot. I think he's a day 3 guy easy. He had a hamstring issue. It tightened up and still ran through it. I think teams are going to care. I think they're going to care. But again, looking through these picks, Trevion Henderson to the Lions. Just getting more speed. Another running back that can catch the ball in the backfield. Scatterboo to the Chiefs. That's like the perfect fit for him. That's a back that can grind it between the tackles. A good runner, good vision, catch the ball as well. Honestly, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but more physical, more grinder, better vision, better everything. Just Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but everything you thought he was going to be, but better. Dylan Sampson, like that wasn't like a comparison, but you compare him 40s, you compare some similar characteristics in the open field after catching the ball. There's some stuff there. Now you're looking at the Jaguars here, 70. Gotta look at my picks. Ashton, Jeanty, Derek Harmon. Looking at what I need. Benjamin Morrison's there. I'm just going to take the value. He should not be falling this far. I'm just going to take the value here at 70. It is what it is. I'm drafting good players. I don't care. Jordan Birch, Edge, Saints. Shamar Turner, defensive tackle, Bears. I could have drafted another defensive lineman. CJ West, Jets. Josiah Stewart, Edge. Another solid pick here. Cowboys, what are they going to go with? Alfred Collins. That's actually a solid get. Chris Paul, linebacker, Patriots. Elijah Roberts goes edge there for the Cardinals. Texans are up. We have went Luther Burden, Kyle Kennard, one of my favorites. Texans, O-line, wide receiver, Mbo's there. We got a good tight end. We got 2 good tight ends right there. They're not going to be there when we're up picking again. Joshua Farmer. We got Jared Wilson. This would be a good time to go guard. This would be good time to get Ratledge right there. Just throw him in the middle. We also got Cameron Williams right there. And those are 2 good picks that I like better than some of the guys on the board. We're looking at wide receiver. We got Jalen Royals, stud. We got running backs galore still. If we're looking at offensive line right now, if I'm going offensive line, it's Ratledge. And my next pick is 89. Let's just play the board off that. And what else can we do here to make this team better? Getting more athletic at tight end. Just have something to build off of. We also got wide receiver to build off of here. We got Luther Burden, but we could get another guy. We can get something else there. We can go safety. We can do a lot of things here. Marcus and Bose right there. Let's just get another tackle. Let's move him around. Let's see what happens here. Let's get that here. We're in the 3rd round, so these are more developmental prospects. Colts are now on the clock. And what have we drafted? James Pierce, Demetrius Knight. We got Mason Taylor and Terrence Ferguson. We got 2 good tight ends right here on the board for us to take. This is a great spot. These are 2 good tight ends that can help us out. Ferguson was very productive, 9 yards per route ran. Mason Taylor can do it all. Who do you like better? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm just going to go Taylor because that's what I landed on. Getting a tight end for the Colts. Ferguson going to the Bengals. Phillips to Seattle, getting a defensive lineman. Tackle to the Steelers. Trey Harris to the Bucks. That's a good landing spot for the long term. Joshua Farmer, defensive lineman. Jared Wilson to the Chargers. Savion Williams to the Packers. Jaguars are up. What have we drafted so far with the Jaguars? Morrison, Harmon, Jeanty. One of my dudes is here. Safety per PFF is a position of need, and that's one of my dudes. Kevin Winston. Come on down, you're a Jacksonville Jaguar. They're having a good draft. They're getting guys I like, at least. Now we're on the clock with the Texans. And you know what we were doing? We know we were looking at Ratledge. And we're getting him. That's a dog. He's going to get drafted higher than this, guys. He's getting drafted higher than 91 is rank, 86 is ADP, and 89 here. He's going before this. We're not going this far with only 1 guard coming off the board. Right? That's just not logical. That's against mathematical odds. With him being a good prospect, good experience at Georgia, a lot of experience, good size, just ain't happening. Jalen Knoll, good player going to Seattle. That would be a good fit for the long term. Wyatt Millen's one of my guys. I like him in the 3rd round. I like him in the 2nd. I think he's a 2nd round caliber player. RJ Harvey to the Browns. Now we're getting set. Another running back to the Chiefs. Come on, guys. But again, if they double tap the position, they do like to use multiple running backs. And what we saw last year at the running back position, that makes sense. They brought in Elijah Mitchell. That's how desperate they are. Looking back at this, Devin Neal. So Lions double tap running back. That's not likely at all. Someone's going to make fun of that in the comments. I've done it for you, so you don't have to. But still, I understand one for any team in the league. I get that if you're good at running back, even getting one so good at the running back position this year. But looking at what's there, RJ Harvey to the Browns, getting to the Chiefs. Harvey taking over for Nick Chubb. He's going to take over that backfield. That's a stud. That's a stud, guys. That's a stud. Tez Johnson going to the Eagles. Getting a good route runner. Just throwing him into the mix. Jalen Royals, though, I like him better. He's more twitched up. He's a good route runner. Creates separation. Good hands. Very sticky. Tackle. And Book is one of my favorite safeties in this range of the draft. I like going to him. But now I'm on the board with the Titans. What have I done so far? I got Cam Ward. I got A.O. Manor. Looking at Titans, I'm alright at running back. But I do have a familiar face looking at me right now. I do. And running back's starting to dry up. Running back went on a big run. That could potentially happen. We could see a lot of day 3 guys. Restrepo's gone. Arroyo's gone. Cam Ward could come in with a familiar face. When we're looking at 4th round here, I mean, you could fill positions of need. You got Isaiah Bond. Some upside there. That might be the smarter move for upside. I love Damian Martinez. I think that's a great pick. However, we're good at running back. We're doubled up. Castro's a safety I like. I like Fannin as well. I think we chase upside here with Isaiah Bond. We keep stacking talent at wide receiver and make that reach. We got to get Cam Ward some talent, guys. We got Calvin Ridley there still. We got to get him some talent. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's take those shots, man. Let's take them shots. Let's have fun with this. Dorian Strong, I like him a lot. I think that's a good pick in the 4th round to the Browns. Deion Walker to the Giants. Sebastian Castro, my dude. I think Patriots are having a good draft, if I remember right. Jaguars are up. Jaguars are up. And what have we done? Jeanty, Harmon, Morrison, Kevin. Actually, a sexy-ass draft. Sexy-ass draft. Tight end is a position that we need to tap into. And one of our guys is there. Gunnar Helm. And it's going to tear off. And Harold Fannin was immensely productive. Racking up catches at Bowling Green. Slipped a little bit when it comes to draft consensus. But this is a great landing spot here. Jaguars, great fit. Raiders are up. Jacob Parrish. Bills are up. Kamen Rucker. What's up now? Jeffrey Bassa. Linebacker, Jets. Coming on down, Saints. Damian Martinez going to the Saints. That's a good fit for him. That's a good get for the Saints. That's a good marriage right there. Eventually, Alvin Kamara is going to be wrapped up, and that's going to be it. Kobe Bryant going to the Panthers. I think SportsCenter is going to love that name. Now, Colts are up. What have we done with the Colts? James Pierce, Demetrius Knight, Mason Taylor. Very meat and potatoes, but very sexy on the defensive side of the ball here. We need to look at guard. We need to look at safety. Guard in the interior. Willie Lampkin's one of my dudes. When do we pick next? 151. Willie Lampkin's one of my dudes. Edge is there. Jonas Sanker, he's fine. We're fine. We're fine. We want edge and linebacker so far. We're fine. Jonas Sanker right there. Let's do it. Let's pull this. See what we're going to be looking at 151. Falcons are up. 4th round pick. That's a developmental prospect. Territory. Edge. Titans are on the clock. 120, 141. We've drafted 2 wide receivers and Cam Ward. I don't think wide receivers are going to have much talent left. And it doesn't. It's at the... Kyle Williams is the guy I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about him, but let's keep this rolling here. Edge, linebacker. I want to pull on one of these edges, actually. I want to pull on one of these edges. Coming down here. Halfback Jaden Blue. Lampkin's there. Jack Kaiser. Pulling that. Pulling up on that. Just getting a solid linebacker. There's going to be some edges here at 142 that I can look at. Next up is the Jaguars for me, right? So, Jaden Blue going to the Broncos. Them getting some speed. Didn't live up to the 5-star status, but still. Torrey Horton to the Packers. Gunnar Helm to the Chargers. That seems like a fit, actually. He seems like a hardball kind of guy. 4th round, Jaguars are up. 126. We went Ashton, Jeanty, Derek Harmon, Benjamin Morrison, Kevin Winston, Harold Fannin. This has been a great draft. Great draft here. Looking at what we have on tap, what we need to look at, what have we drafted so far. We have one defensive line. We're middle of the 4th round. We got some players looking at us. Willie Lampkin's there, like I keep looking at. I believe we either go defensive line with Pegs, or we go Rivers or Williams. Just looking at the top here. Coming down, Basil Tootin's there. Basil Tootin's right there. Toot. But we got Brashard Smith. We have some talent. We can wait a bit. We don't have to take a run at running back. We don't have to. The more I go down, the bigger the tiers drop off. The one thing, though, is getting some interior, both sides of the ball. I think we've already touched defensive line here with Harmon. I think we get a tackle here from Miami. We're in the 4th round. Just get good depth. Get extra depth there going into camp. Rams, get Pegs. That's cool. Commanders go Lampkin. Smart move. Smart move. They double tapped guard in this draft. 2 of the top 3 guards. Tootin going off the board to the Lions. 3 running backs. 3 running backs. Like I said, it's a simulator. It'll jack things up, though. Tackle to the Chiefs. Edge to the Eagles. That's at least 2 edges to them. Will Howard to the Dolphins, though. That's interesting. That's an interesting selection. Rashard Smith to Seattle. Savion Jones to the 49ers. Riley Mills to the Vikings. Tyler Batty to the Panthers. Now I'm up. 4th round, 141. Next pick's 167. We've double tapped wide receiver after going Cam Ward, Jack Kaiser. Coming back here. Edge, linebacker. Looking at what's available. Tight end, running back. Billy Bowman's there. I like him. Condra's there. Guard, edge. Tyler Barron. Now we're just looking. We're in the back half of the 4th round. So we're really looking for depth and talent. Kobe King's there at linebacker. We've already got our linebacker, though, Jack Kaiser. I'll remember him for some more picks. Sometimes these players are like down their ways and the simulator snipe me before I go down far enough. Cody Simons, another linebacker I like. I could have waited a little bit more on linebacker. Coming up here, where's my first edge coming off? Edge from Miami. We're going Barron right here. Just getting it done. Wrapping it up. Play with Cam Ward anyways. Jaguars are up. What have we done with the Jaguars? Ashton, Jeanty, Derek Harmon, Benjamin Morrison, Kevin Winston. Honestly, a very, very sexy draft here. Very sexy draft. Tight end, defensive line. Have we went tight end yet? Yeah, we drafted Harold Fannin. I don't like the tight ends that are left on the board. Just working our way on down. Also, we're in the 5th round. We're looking at depth here. What could we get? Billy Bowman. Just getting depth at safety. Just getting a talent that I like, too. Raiders are up. Riley Leonard going to the Raiders. Mullings going to the Pats. Bryant going to the Jets. Getting a depth at wide receiver. Huzzy going to the Panthers. Condra, one of my dudes, going to the Niners. Mitchell Evans to the Bears. Cowboys go running back. Simeon Barrow Jr. goes Dolphins. And now we're looking at the Colts. Colts are now up on the clock here. And what are we going to look here? What are we going to do? What have we done here? We went sexy. Edge, linebacker. Then we went tight end. We went sinker. What can we do to help this team out? What's up at running back? Ollie Gordon. Remember him later. Look at wide receiver. Kyle Williams. But we got Josh Downs. So we're going to keep him around forever. Coming down. Quincy Riley. Getting another cornerback for depth. That's a position I can always stack up depth. Linebacker, Kobe King. We already went linebacker earlier. Doesn't make too much sense. Upton Stout. Coming back up here. I think for here I'm going to go Quincy Riley. Just getting depth at corner. Just getting depth. Filling out that depth chart. Getting some fights at training camp. Let's see what we can do here. Kobe Hudson going to the Bengals. Some more depth. Your set going to the Giants is something to pay attention to long-term wise. Cornelius to the Dolphins. Getting a tackle. This is where we're getting depth. Kobe King going to the Bucks. That's a great fit. That's a great fit. Kyle Williams going to the Chargers. They're going to be nasty at wide receiver. I think Vlad McConkey's going to overshadow him too much, though. I would like him to go somewhere else just because he's a good player and I want him to succeed. Dylan Gabriel going to the Panthers. Could develop well as a backup. Maybe into something more. He's on the shorter side, but still, so isn't their starter. Nick Nash, Trevor Etienne. Tapping that well at the skill positions. Now we're looking at the Texans. Ratledge was our last pick. We double-tacked offensive line. We're in the 5th round. 5th round. Joe Mixon's not going to last forever. That's for sure. But coming down here, Seth McLaughlin, Connor Colby. We're nasty offensive line here. We're nasty there. Denzel Burke. There's a lot of players I like. Our next pick is 236. Looking at running back. There's a running back I'm going to shoot for here. He ain't going to be there. But there's a lot of good players that I'm looking at here. That is just sitting here for me to get in the 5th round. Offensive line, if I just want to keep adding depth. Keep adding talent. Linebackers there. I mean, jeez. I like Connor Colby a lot. Let's just get another interior offensive lineman and call it a day. Let's do it. Because that's depth, but that's talent. Titans are on the clock. Again, double tapped wide receiver after Cam Ward, Jack Kaiser, and then we went edge here. Again, we're looking at depth at this spot, not trying to fill needs really, but also looking of what's available. We can go Seth McLaughlin, Tyler Cooper. We can go linebacker here. Did we already go linebacker? We already did. Interior offensive line. You could always use dudes there. You can move them around guard, center guard. You always need bodies. Going into camp, RJ Oben, edge, Seth McLaughlin, center, Bills, Cody Simon. You see, I'm kind of thinking that's how teams are going to be thinking too. They're looking at their positions like corner, where you can put out like 4 of them. You're going to need depth. You're going to need depth at interior offensive line, defensive line, guys that can move around positions. They're going to think that way as well. Not just like the positions they absolutely need, but also the backup spots. Even though they're good there for starters, those backup spots, even if you think they're good, like just getting talent there to compete in camp. Titans are up, and I'm just drafting a talent here, Denzel Burke. I just want him on the Titans. I just want him there. Shouldn't fall any farther anyways. Marcus Yarns to the Browns, double tapping running back there. Jaguars go tight end. Chargers go tight end. Second one so far. Jaguars are on the clock here. I think it's time to go backup quarterback. I think it's time, and I think Kyle McCord needs to come off the board to the Jaguars. I think that's a good value to get a backup quarterback that has some upside. Play behind Trevor Lawrence. I think this is a great spot for McCord because you got Brian Thomas Jr. We got some pieces. You got some players there that we can get. Let's see, Hemingway off the board. Titans are back up. There we are. We hit some defense. We got some wide receivers. Looking at what's here to draft. Coming on down. Jordan James is there. Alec Arnold, Sam LeQuint. A lot of good. Ollie Gordon, the big running back. Big, thick running back. Nothing close to Derrick Henry. But if you're looking to get that big bruiser, that is something they don't have. You can have a 3-headed monster there. And he's going to be cheap. Talent-wise, more like a 4th rounder, 3rd rounder, 4th-ish probably. More 4th-ish. I think that's going to be a good get for Cam Ward. I think that's a great get for him. Colts are now on the clock. And running back is not a position of need, but that is a position that gets banged up on this team a lot. They tried to address it in free agency with another running back that gets banged up, but I like LaQuint Allen a lot. Good between the tackles, good catch the ball in the backfield. I would take him over Trey Sermon any day. That's what they tried to fill last year. You're going to get yourself a good 4th to 5th round talent there. Most draft classes, even better than a lot of 4th and 5th rounders, actually. Jaguars are up. What if we went with them? They're probably about due to get their running back. Kyle McCord was our last pick. They've had a good draft. I've been doing good with them. Running back right now, what to tap it up with. Woody Marks is right there. I think this is a good backfield for him to crash. This is going to give that backfield some competition. Again, another 4th to 5th round to 3rd round talent. Somewhere there. Somewhere around 3rd to 4th round. Somewhere around there. You got to give ETN, you got to give Tank some competition. He's going to do that. Is he going to take their jobs? Probably not initially, but if injuries hit, you're good. Injuries hit last year. You're going to be good. Rams go quarterback. Falling in the 6th round. See what Cowboys do here. They go with a wide receiver. Zeke Biggers, Georgia Tech coming off the board. Jay Higgins from Iowa. I like him a lot. I like him as a value play. I like him. Chargers go Jordan James. Dante Thornton to the Ravens. Taj Brooks to the Ravens, getting a running. Ricky White to the Cowboys is a huge get. Huge get. I think he's better than 6th round. I think he's more of a mid-round guy. G5 prospect, but did well at Michigan State when he was there. He blew up against Michigan. I think that's a tremendous pick that could climb the depth chart. Jimmy Horn's got speed. Giants are up. Miles Frazier with the pick. I'm up now with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the Jaguars, I already drafted my backup quarterback. This is my last pick. And I already got my running back. I want to go sexy. Let's see what I can do. Actually, I can go another tight end. It's okay to double tap a position that's strong. Oronde Gadsden's there. My goodness. My goodness. I'm going to go Gadsden. I'm going to go another tight end. I'm going to go with another one. This is my last pick. Let's get it done. I think it's my last pick. Yeah, it's my last one. Next one's the Colts at 232. Rourke's off the board. Lachey's off the board for the Dolphins. Brady Cook backing up at Arizona. What Niners going to do here? There we go. They go edge. Detroit. Get a wide receiver here. Fill out that depth chart. Same thing with the Steelers. Craig Woodson off the board. Crawford off the board for the Dolphins. Now I'm the Colts. Just want to do a quick scroll. Graham Mertz there. Malachi Moore. Will Shepard. Jeanty Wester's one of my dudes. I draft him a lot. Montrell Johnson Jr. I believe we went running back our last pick anyways with LaQuint Allen. Coming down here. Theo Weiss. Nah. Theo Weiss, get out of here. I actually don't like you. Jordan Hancock. Jordan Hancock, come on down. I think that's a good talent for the 7th round. I just think he's a good talent. I think you can throw him in there, see what happens, let him compete. Half these 7th round picks aren't going to be on a roster within the next 365 days. Now we're here. I got 2 7s to look at. We went heavy offensive line. I don't think we can continue to do that. What we got at running back that I can get? Any running backs that I like? Raheem Sanders, Montrell Johnson. I like them both. I think both of them can be value plays. How about I look at Mickens here at safety? Have I hit safety up yet? I have not hit that up. That can get us some good value. Wide receiver. I think LeJohntay Wester could be a good backup for this team. Very productive this year. I think that could be a good talent. I don't want to see him go undrafted either. I think he's a good developmental fit. Linebacker for the Packers. Wide receiver Samuel Brown. R.J. Mickens to the Cowboys. Hunter Wohler to the Bears. I'm back up. What was I looking at here? I was looking at running back. None of the running backs went. I'm going Rocket Sanders. Just going off the Arkansas days. Also has some size to grind it out. I think that's what we're going to do here. And I think we're going to kill this draft right now. Frencho Cypress goes to the Ravens. Will Shepard coming off the board to the Detroit Lions. Montrell Johnson to the Commanders. Again, that's a good talent. That's like 5th round talent in the 7th round. Very deep running back class. Very deep class. Ethan Downs to the Niners. Jalen Walker to the Packers. Chiefs go Clay Webb. Niners go Reed, linebacker. McKay to the Dolphins. Lacey to the Browns. We're filling out some depth charts here. Theo Weiss. Shouldn't even draft him. Last pick. There it is. I earned an award. Let me know what you think about this draft. Who fell to your team, everything else. How do you grade your team in this draft? Some of these picks got messed up due to the simulator. Let me know what you think. Comments below, though. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.